Now, let me just give you a quick story. I was on an airplane once, and this gentleman sat down beside me, shook my hand, and immediately introduced himself as a quantum physicist. Then he immediately also added, I'm an atheist and a skeptic. Now, that rarely happens where somebody tells me they're an atheist and a skeptic right off the bat, but he did. And he said, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm not a quantum physicist. I'm more into astrophysics. And I'm not an atheist. I'm a Christian. He says, oh, well, what do you do with the size of the universe? It seems like such a waste. So I answered that question. And he says, well, what about why would God need 13.8 billion years? Answered that question. He had 8 major objections to the Christian faith. We talked about that over the course of a 2-hour flight. As we were walking off the flight towards baggage claim, he says, how is it that you know the answers to these 8 questions? And I said, well, those are the first 8 chapters in a book I wrote a year ago. And he said, do you have a copy of that book? So I showed him, he looked at the table of contents. You're right, these are the first 8 chapters. I can't believe it. And as we were continuing the baggage claim, he calculated the probability that a German quantum physicist who's an atheist skeptic would happen to be sitting on an airplane flight with an astrophysicist who's a Christian. And he says, it's got to be less than 1 chance in a billion. And then as we were picking up our bags, he says, I know this day was not an accident. This was planned. And he says, thank you for the book. I was actually able to give him something in German as he walked away. And my message to all of you is, God may not equip you with the same reasons he's equipped me. I remember when we were going door to door, one of the fellows that I had trained came into the Mormon faith. Well, when he would knock on doors, it was amazing how many times a Mormon or an ex-Mormon would open the door. And when I would knock on doors, it would be an engineer or a scientist. And it's like, this is not an accident. If you prepare good reasons for the hope within you, God will give you an opportunity to share your faith. And this is why I think 1 Peter 3:15 is so dear to my heart. But in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But this is the point. You need to be able to do this with gentleness, respect, and a clear conscience. If you'll prepare these good reasons and are prepared to share them in a Christian character, God will supernaturally bring people to you. They'll receive those reasons and give their lives to Christ.